Welcome to another edition of Novimash podcast. So today we are back with our book reading session. So we'll continue our book reading session for Maharanas, the book written by Dr. Omendra Ratnu. So this is our fifth reading session. So we also have with us Shekhar and Nina, two of our guest readers, and people who are listening. If you want to become a guest reader and read books with us, you can send us an email. The email address is flashing on the scroll at navavimarsh@gmail.com. So if you want to become the guest reading uh, session person, do reach out to us, and we will love to host anyone who wants to read books with us. So on that front, now it is over to Shekhar and Nina. So we have the
हम्म, नमस्कार।
just
हाँ, तो आज हम नेक्स्ट चैप्टर चालू करेंगे जो हमारी सीरीज चल रही थी इस बुक की। तो आज हम महाराणा हमीर सिंह के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे तो और उनके
Shekhar,
बारे में
Shekhar,
पढ़ेंगे। हम्म,
Shekhar,
हम्म,
just
हम्म,
hold on. I need to share the screen and where they can buy the book. So this is something important. So here is the book. The link is also available for people who are watching. Is The link is available in the description of the podcast. So you can go there and you will find the Padega India link and also the link by the author himself. So this is the book. It's available in Hindi as well as in English. So both the versions are available in Padega India and in the author's homepage itself. For people, I'm just posting it again. This is the Hindi version. So, but you can also find the English version as well. So we are reading the English version of it. And before proceeding further, let me just share one more data. So Dr. Omendra Ratnu runs a foundation called Dharma Foundation. So this is the website of the Dharma Foundation, dharmafoundation.org. They work uh, to re-establish dharma and help people who are dharmic in various aspects in terms of shuddhi, in terms of helping people, especially people from Pakistani Hindus and Bangladeshi Hindus, uh, who are facing a lot of atrocities in their home countries. So he helps them. So I would request everybody who is watching this stream or who would be watching this later. So do consider and supporting the Dharma Foundation, okay, and help the Dharma to become again the religion of the world, the philosophy of the world. So Artha is Dharma, justice begins where inequality ends. So a request to everybody, do consider supporting Dharma Foundation. Okay, you can also reach out to them. Okay, you can also buy the book as well. So Shekhar, uh, thank you. Now over to you. Go ahead.
हम्म, हाँ, तो बेसिकली हम लोग इस चैप्टर के अंदर पढ़ेंगे कि जो लास्ट चैप्टर में हुआ था कि जो चित्तौड़ जो ले लिया था छल से, तो उसको ये लोग कैसे रिकवर करेंगे वापस, क्योंकि वो जो कैसल है वहाँ का, जो फोर्ट है वो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, एक स्ट्रेटेजिक लोकेशन पे है, तो उसको लेना आसान नहीं है। ठीक है, तो क्योंकि जो मुस्लिम्स थे, जो इन्वेडर्स थे, उनको भी लेने में काफी जनरेशन लग गए थे। वो एक बार आए और एक बार में नहीं ले लिया था, तो इनको भी रिकवर करने में काफी काफी इनकी भी जनरेशन चली जाएंगी रिकवर करने में। तो बेसिकली हम उनके बारे में आज जानेंगे। तो मैं पढ़ता हूँ दादा आगे।
Yeah, Nina, you need to
महाराणा
reshare your
हामिद
screen
सिंह।
again. Wait. Nina, you need to reshare your screen again. Nina, the book is not visible as of yet. So could you reshare your screen again?
Okay. 1 second.
Yeah.
I'll try sharing twice again.
Yeah, yeah, please do it. I think there is some technical things which happening on the sharing part.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll make it full screen. Okay, wait. What's happening? Yeah, do I think you need to reshare it again. Something is happening.
Yeah, I need to do it twice. Some issues that now it will come, I think.
Yeah, okay. The texts are okay. I think go ahead and reading. If the audience sees
It
any
is
issue with
zoomed
the
in, right?
text,
Do you need
yeah,
me
it
to
is
zoom
Zoom.
in?
No, it's
Okay.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. Go ahead and
Okay.
read
Okay.
it. In case
Yes.
if we have any concerns, we'll do it again. Go ahead.
Sure.
Yes. Maharana Hamir Singh, the recoverer of Chittor and the destructor of Tughlaq. The story of this great Maharana reinforces the observations that how bizarre the saga of survival and ascendance of kings to the throne of Mewar in the Sisodiya dynasty had been. How faith intervened to impose defeat from near certain victories of Mewar or conversely saved the Maharanas and their armies from the very brink of annihilation by a stroke of luck. It makes the most compelling read ever recorded in human history. Sometimes one is forced to believe that there was a divine power audaciously determined to keep the Hindu resistance alive in the subcontinent. Otherwise, how was it possible for a single house to continue ruling Mewar and be the center of resistance to unceasing Islamic attacks for 1000 years? Friends turned foe, affluence turned to abject poverty, gaiety to unimaginable sorrow, dance of celebration to dance of death. All creativity of Mewar architecture, built over centuries, plundered in days by Islamic murderers. Hindu customs and traditions crushed and banned with an iron will. Cities destroyed and entire populations slaughtered for a singular wish of the Islamic invaders: convert to Islam or die. What was that singular thread except an amazing understanding of the ethos and values of Hindu Dharma, which made not only Maharanas stand against jihad, but the entire population of Mewar and at times all of Rajasthan unite with their kings. One is baffled at the fortitude of these amazing kings who were outnumbered, outwitted, and outresolved in the fight against Islam, and yet they stood firm in opposing the designs of all these murderous assaults on Hinduism. After Ratan Singh was killed by the Alauddin Khilji, Chittor was taken over by Islamic forces for the first time, and ever Haveli temple and structure of the consequence were either desecrated or destroyed. Khilji continued to plunder Chittor for about a fortnight and then gave the fort to his son Khilji Khan, who named the city Khijrabad. Before going out for the final battle or Saka at Chittor, Ratan Singh instructed his sons and brothers to escape from the rear gate of Chittor at night. He ordered them to fight the Muslims and regain the fort at an opportune time. Almost 9 generations of Ratan Singh died trying to regain Chittor, but finally Bhuvan Singh recovered the fort. Many great warriors like Rahab Singh, Mahab Singh, Karan Singh sacrificed their lives trying to regain their ancestral place in a short span of 3 decades. Bhuvan Singh was succeeded by Lakshman Singh, while in Delhi the power had shifted from Khiljis to the Tughlaqs. Muhammad bin Tughlaq attacked Chittor and Lakshman Singh, along with his son Asir Singh, died defending Chittor. Chittor was lost once more. The younger son of Lakshman, Ajay Singh, escaped with severe injuries and built his capital at Kaliwada, where he was sheltered and healed by Jain Munis. Lakshman Singh had 2 sons, Ajay Singh and his elder brother Hari Singh. Before the attack by Tughlaq, Ari Singh went out to hunt boars in the jungle of Khailwada and came across a local lass in the village of uh, Onvada. Ondwa. She confronted him when he wanted to enter a cornfield while chasing a wounded boar. The girl asked Ari Singh to not ruin the farm and wait for her to return with the game. To Ari, what happened? To Ari Singh's utter amazement, the girl came back with the carcass of the animal. Then the girl politely asked Ari Singh to cook the boar in the village and enjoy his meal. As they were walking back, Ari Singh, already impressed with her, noticed how carrying a milk pitcher on her head, she was also effortlessly dragging two buffaloes. Ari Singh contemplated, if I were to have a son from her, he would be very powerful man indeed. So also were his thoughts. Ari Singh inquired about the family, who happened to be a Chandala Rajputs and came for her hand from her father. Ari Singh married the girl Urmila, but because she was no royalty, the marriage was kept a secret. He kept visiting the girl regularly, and a boy was born to the Chandana girl. The boy was named Hamir Singh. In the meantime, Muhammad bin Tughlaq attacked Chittor and acquired it after killing Lakshman Singh and Ahir Singh. Ajay Singh, the other son of Lakshman Singh, escaped from the war with Tughlaq and settled in Kailwada. He had two sons, Sajan Singh and Shyam Singh, both of whom were weak and ineffective. Ajay Singh was constantly challenged by a local mountain chief, Baloch, but was old, too old to fight him. Then some summons loyal to Ari Singh told Ajay Singh about the Hamir Singh, who was beckoned from his village on Ondwa at the age of 13. Hamir Singh set up his men and learned that Monja would be coming to Simari village to attend an event. Hamir, Hamir Singh attacked him and beheaded him, carrying back Monja's head to his saddle bow. Amir Singh kissed his nephew, applied a tika on Hamir's forehead with Munja's blood. Thus, Hamir Singh became the king of Mewar, overcoming his circumstances through his extreme valor and twist of faith around 1326. From Raval to Rana. Another very significant change that occurred with the coronation of Hamir Singh was the change of title of Mewar kings from Raval to Rana. Two different theories have been proposed to explain this. First, as we talked in the uh, end of the chapter on Raval Ratan, saying the Mewar house was divided into two between Karan Singh's two sons, Rahab and Mahab. The descendants of the younger Rahab were named Sisodiyas after the village Sisod where Rahab ruled. Seeing the loss of Chittor as a sign from the divine forces, Raha proposed that henceforth the kings of Mewar would cease to be kings and be mere divans or caretakers of Mewar. Eklingji, an avatar of Shiva, would henceforth be the king of Mewar. आई थिंक ये है तो ये प्रैक्टिस तो काफी दूसरे किंगडम्स में भी फॉलो की जाती थी, जैसे आई थिंक विजयनगर में जहाँ तक मैं जानता हूँ उनके जो इष्ट देवता थे उसमें वहां पे भी वो लोग अपने आप को दीवार ही मानते थे।
और मतलब सोवरेनिटी एक्चुअली वो क्या बोलते हैं, जो पेट्रन डीटी है उसके पास होती है, और उसके मतलब सर्वेंट बोलते हैं, जो महाराजा होते हैं वो जो देवता के सर्वेंट होते हैं बोलते हैं। काफ़ी सारे किंगडम में ऐसा था, ट्रावनकोर में भी ऐसा ही था।
Yes, I think this practice goes back, I think, even millennia, because even if you go to the Roman kingdoms, Greek kingdoms, okay,
Yes, yes.
so the kings and the chieftains would actually draw power from a greater deity. So this practice is very like it's a kind of a universal practice itself. So if you see in
Absolutely.
Egyptian pharaohs did the same thing. Romans did the same things. Greeks were doing the same things. So this is something kind of a universal human thing which happens. So that is something which is there. I think Shekhar dropped out. Nina, could you go ahead and complete the reading till Shekhar
Yes.
rejoins?
Yeah, I'll continue reading from here.
Yeah.
Seeing the loss of Chittor as a sign from the divine forces, Rahab proposed that henceforth the kings of Mewar would cease to be kings and be mere divans or caretakers of Mewar. Eklingji, an avatar of Shiva, would henceforth be the king of Mewar. This was a remarkable shift at the level of human consciousness. The arrogance of kings was to be replaced by humbling them as servants of Mahadev. This is one of the reasons why Sisodiyas always remain the most rooted kings in entire Bharatvarsha. They practice true democracy via the Samants and Jagirdans of Mewar in consultations and tax collections. They mingled freely with the ordinary people of the state and wined and dined with them. This was the reason that the ordinary people of Mewar willingly endured the hardships and plunder that fell upon the great Maharanas. They remained aloof from personal sufferings, living like Mahayogis, but staying focused on protecting their people, land, and deities. Without doubt, these great Ranas became the living embodiment of the aphorism humility is the very essence of human existence. The second reason for the nomenclature of Rana is believed to be etymological. If we break up the word Maharana in Sanskrit, it yields Maha plus Arnav, meaning literally meaning great warrior. Shamal Das gives one more explanation, saying that after the first loss of Chittor, Karan Singh escaped to Kailwada. He was challenged there by Rana Mokal Padiyar of Mandogar. Karan Singh's Karan's younger son Rahab defeated Padiyar and brought him to Karan. Karan took away the title of Rana from Mughal and granted it to Rahab. Be that as it may, Amir Singh became the first Maharana of Mewar. Ajay
हाँ,
Singh's son. हाँ,
हाँ, आई
shall I
थिंक मैं
continue?
कंटिन्यू कर रहा हूँ। मैं करता हूँ यहाँ पे, थोड़ा
Okay,
कुछ
okay.
गड़बड़ हो गया था फ़ोन में।
So we will read it from Ajay Singh's sons.
हाँ, ठीक है। Ajay Singh's son, Sajjan Singh and Shyam Singh were exiled by their father to prevent a civil war in the family. Sajjan Singh went to the Deccan, where his progeny was destined to fight the wrongs done to Hindustan by the then Mughal ruler Aurangzeb in Delhi. Sajjan Singh was the ancestors of the great Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the founder of Satara throne. This lineage is also recorded in the Chronicles of Mewar. तो ये कंफर्म नहीं है जो ये बता रहे हैं, बस मतलब माना जाता है उनके जो शिवाजी के डिसेंडेंट्स है ना उनके हिसाब से ये है।
हाँ,
Hamir was made Kelwada his residence, and his first plan of action was to order the people of Mewar to vacate the plains and climb up the hills according to the scorched earth policy of Mewar. This policy was made to render these plains of Mewar barren and useless for the enemy and create such hardships that they would starve in the absence of local farming and other commodities required for sustenance. This evacuation of the plains and shifting the entire population to the hills was a movement that was carried out by successive Maharanas of Mewar to counter Islamic invaders. It was quite an amazing feat to achieve and even communicate such a message to the entire state in those challenging times. Even more baffling was the total trust the population had in their king to have joyously followed their Rana to a life of extreme hardship and adversities. One can only look back in awe at such trust and love showered by the entire population on their ruler, and it is difficult to decide whose sacrifice among the two was greater. The Maharana, who choose to famous the entire commerce of their state and the lives of uh, live a life of warrior, or the people of Mewar who followed the Maharanas to poverty and deprivation. We will see this practice of evacuating planes from the Aravallis in the lives of other Ranas of Mewar as well. But the most remarkable example of this practice and the resulting victory of Mewar was seen twice. Once with the Maharana Hamir and then 2 centuries later with Maharana Pratap. However, it was not an easy journey for Hamir. Even after putting his people through all these hardships and destroying the local commerce, Hamir did not gain much military success. A time came when he did not even have the money to pay the salaries of his army. In the meantime, Tughlaq went back to Delhi, leaving Chittor in the hands of Maldev Sangara of Jalore as his vassal. Maldev protected it fiercely and nursed the ambition of ruling the whole of Mewar someday. Maldev was informed of the moves of Hamir Singh, but he considered Hamir a weak and spent force. Although Kailwada provided the perfect refuge from the plains, the repeated failure at regaining Chittor began to tire out the Samants and friends of the royal house. The entire campaign to free Chittor began to disintegrate. Ahmed, dejected and defeated, abandoned his home and retreated to Dwarka in Gujarat. En route to Dwarka, he camped out at night in a village called Khod, which was a settlement of the local Charan community. Here, Hamid had a chance meeting with a female mystic, uh, Parvati Devi, daughter of Chakanda Charan, to whom he narrated his misfortunes. This encounter and her advice not only changed his life but also dimensions of entire Hindu-Muslim conflict in the subcontinent irreversibly. Parvati looked at Hamir and proclaimed, "Oh brave brother, go back to Kalwada. You will get Chittor, and when you get a matrimonial offer from the most unexpected place, don't reject it. Accept it. That offer will be instrumental in getting back your lost kingdom." Bye, सिस्टर बोलते हैं उसको उसमें राजस्थानी में भाई को. How would you get Chittor back? I don't have a horse to ride, nor men to fight for me, no money even to feed my family. Barwadi told Hamid that her son Paru would come to Kelwada with a caravan of 500 horses and enough wealth to help him build an army with them and then pay her back when he had enough. Hamir was inspired by Mata Barwadi's words and contemplated following her advice. In any case, he did not have anything to lose by following the Charan lady's assurances. Hamir came back to Kailwada and waited. As promised by Mahata Marwadi, within weeks, Paru followed him with his 500 horses and money. Hamir saddled all of them, and Baru was honored as the Raj Kavi of Mewar, and I think the royal poet. Many villages were given to him as grants. Baru's descendants inhabit these villages even today. Once again, the Bhils of Mewar rose to support the Rajputs of Mewar and provided Hamir with thousands of warriors and bowmen and furnished information from about the movements of the enemy troops. Then, through a strange turn of event, Maldev, who was entrusted with Chittor by Muhammad bin Tughlaq, was advised by his well-wishers to give a daughter to Hamir as thought they thought that it would truly expand their frontiers. Though, without doubt, Maldev merely wanted to use matrimony to augment his own power. Little did he know of the fate that awaited him. From Hamir's perspective, this offer was unacceptable, but Hamir was convinced that Mother Parvati's prophecy and considered accepting it. The priest from Maldives approached Hamir and told him about the traditional friendship between Jalor and Mewar. The priest also told him that Hamir's forefathers were killed by Mohammedans, not Maldev nor or his family. Whether Maldiv's offer was meant to entrap Hamir or was wielded as an insult worried the latter. He calculated all the possibilities and scouted for possible dangers in his mind. In the end, his trust in the female mystic and his obsession to retake Chittor made him accept the offer. He told his assistants, "The coconut may be retained. He is supposed to have altered. My feet shall at least tread on a rocky steps on which my ancestors have walked. A Rajput should always be prepared for adversities. One day to abandon their adobe covered with wounds, and the next day to reascend the crown on his head." Thus, Hamir undertook the most daring adventure of his life, walking straight into the arms of enemy with nothing except courage and faith in the Charani mystic's words at his disposal. I think अभी next part आप read कर सकते हो.
Okay, from the marriage, right?
Yes, next page. I think.
The
हाँ
marriage.
marriage. हाँ हाँ हाँ.
The marriage took place at Chittor, and the Sungara princess won Hamir's heart on the very first night. The Sungara princess fell instantly in love with Hamir and laid out a plan for him to win back Chittor. She advised Hamir to ask for Maldev's servant Mauji Ram, to which the bride's father Maldev consented. Mauji Ram came to Kailwada with the newlyweds and immediately approached Hamir. Now is the time to make your move, for which you had sought my loyalties from Maldev. Hamir followed Mauji Ram, who took Hamir and his small army to Chittor on the pretext of hunting. At midnight, since the gatekeepers recognized Mauji Ram, the gates of Chittor were opened and Hamir seized Chittor, slaughtering whatever little resistance he faced. Maldev's son, Jayata, was exiled from Chittor. All remnants of the Islamic takeover were obliterated within weeks by Hamir, and any memory naming Chittor as Khizrabad was erased. In any case, the glorious people of Mewad never accepted the name Khizrabad for Chittor, as evidenced by the revenue records of that time. Maldev was furious when he learnt of this and gathered his army to attack Chittor. Maldev had 5 sons who fought for him. Hamir gathered all his former chieftains and repelled the attack of the Jalor army. Maldev approached Tughlaq, and the joint forces of Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Jalor came to attack Chittor. In the meantime, as the people of Mewad learnt about Hamir's ascendance to the throne of Mewad and the pride of Hindwa Suraj reinstated, they poured in streams from the western highlands and the valley of Kumbhalgarh to cheer their king. The glory of Chittor being restored was a signal for the people to return to their ancient abodes in the plains from the hills and other hideouts. Yes. Did you have anything to discuss from this part?
Battle of Sangi.
Singoli, I think.
आई थिंक ये तो आई थिंक उन्होंने काफी चतुराई दिखाई है इसके अंदर लेने के लिए, क्योंकि अगर आप डायरेक्टली काम नहीं आता है ना, तो जैसे शिवाजी करते थे ना गुरिल्ला वॉरफेयर, या फिर आपको दूसरे
हाँ,
जो टैक्टिक्स पे यूज करने पड़ते हैं ना, तो वो यहाँ पे यूज किया। बाकी अगर आप देखो ना, तो ये लोग ज्यादा यूज करते नहीं है। महाराणा जो राजपूत लोग है ना यहाँ के, राजस्थान के या कहीं के भी, तो वो फेस टू फेस ज्यादा डील करने में मानते हैं, कि rather देन कि आप अंडर हैंडेड को तो नहीं बोलेंगे, पर दूसरे
हाँ,
जो
हाँ,
टैक्टिक्स है ना उनको प्रीफर नहीं करते वो फेस टू फेस
बिल्कुल।
लड़ने में ज्यादा वो करते हैं। पर प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि ये हमेशा आउट नंबर्ड थे, तो फेस टू फेस वाला जो है ना, वो कुछ कुछ हद तक ही, मतलब कुछ समय के लिए ही काम आएगा, क्योंकि एक एक टाइम के बाद वो ओवरवेल्म हो ही जाओगे, जो कि हुआ भी है हिस्ट्री के अंदर। ये मतलब 1500 तक तो ठीक था, पर उसके बाद में जैसे ही मुगल्स आए फिर तो ओवरवेल्म हो गए ना वो लोग। तो उसके बाद तो फिर कुछ रहा ही
हाँ,
नहीं, मतलब
बिल्कुल।
ज्यादा कुछ नहीं कर पाए महाराणा प्रताप जो थे, उनके बाद तो कोई रहा नहीं। महाराणा प्रताप भी वो मतलब मेंटेन ही कर पाए थे, मतलब वो थे अपनी एक अलग छाप, मतलब ओवरऑल अगर आप देखो उसके अंदर सिनेरियो इंडिया के अंदर, सब कॉन्टिनेंट के अंदर, तो वो खाली अपना किंगडम मेंटेन ही कर पाए, वो एक्सपांड नहीं कर पाए ना, कुछ ज्यादा वो ऊपर नीचे कुछ नहीं कर पाए थे
हाँ,
वो।
हाँ।
तो वो
हाँ, पर वो भी
इंटरवीन भी
काफ़ी एक
नहीं
बड़ा
कर पाए थे
अचीवमेंट
दूसरों
था।
में।
मतलब दिल्ली के पास
हाँ वो भी
मेंटेन
बड़ा था
करना।
अचीवमेंट, पर हाँ, पर उन तक पहुंचने तक हाल हाल इतने खराब हो गए ना, कि उनको वो भी खाली मेंटेन ही कर पा रहे थे, जबकि वो मतलब उस हिसाब से देखा जाए ना, जिस हिसाब से उनके पास रिसोर्सेस थे, वो भी एक बहुत बड़ी बात थी। पर वो
हाँ,
वहां तक पहुंचे भी इसीलिए थे ना, कि ये लोग बराबर जो इंटरवीन और मतलब बराबर टैक्टिक्स का इस्तेमाल नहीं कर कर पा रहे थे लोग, एक तरह से डिसएडवांटेजेस थे ना, इसलिए। और ये अलायंसेस भी ज्यादा वो भी था कि आसपास ज्यादा कुछ था भी अलायंस करने के लिए। सारे जो हिंदू किंगडम्स है वो एक तरह से या तो वैसल थे उनके, ये इन्वेडर्स के, या फिर उनको मार दिया गया था, दोनों में से एक ही केस था। तो वो भी है,
अच्छा
डिसएडवांटेज
ये।
डिसएडवांटेज तो
हाँ,
बहुत था।
हाँ, हाँ। जो हमीर नाम है, वो एक और भी राजा का न था ना? राजपूती है?
आई थिंक रिपीट काफी टाइम हुआ है आमिर सिंह तो।
शायद पृथ्वीराज चौहान के मतलब ग्रेट ग्रैंडसन या कुछ ऐसा कुछ हुआ
पता
हो।
नहीं, हाँ हो सकता है, क्योंकि ये काफी कॉमन नेम में आता है आमिर जो है ना।
हाँ।
तो जैसे सिंह, आमिर सिंह बोलते हैं ना, तो ये काफी कॉमन नेम आता है उधर। आप चाहोगे ना चित्तौड़ और वो जो एरिया है पूरा, जो अरावली माउंटेन्स जो एरिया है उधर काफी कॉमन है ये।
अच्छा, अभी भी रखते हैं लोग नाम?
हाँ हाँ, प्रताप जैसे महाराणा प्रताप थे ना, वैसे प्रताप आज भी रखते हैं ना, प्रताप है।
हाँ,
फिर
प्रताप तो पता है। हमीर
हाँ
थोड़ा
को
रेयर लगता है।
नहीं नहीं, आमिर तो मिल जाता है, हमें मिल जाता है। इतना कॉमन नहीं है, पर कॉमन है, कॉमन इतना है कि आपको कम से कम एक तो मिल जाते हैं गांव के अंदर, कोई भी आप अगर चाहोगे ना
अच्छा,
ऐसा।
अच्छा।
अच्छा अच्छा, एक चीज मुझे एक्चुअली मतलब सोच रहा था, आई वाज थिंकिंग अबाउट इट, दैट if you see Chinese civilization, okay, and Indian civilization, or civilization called Indic civilization, if you don't see Indian. So, uh, compared to Indic civilization, correct, we have a lot of diversity, okay, and with diversity and with the decentralization of kingdoms, we can see that okay, the invaders were coming and they were able to actually fight multiple times and ultimately take over, because the diversity as a kind of feature made sure that we could not unite as much as it should have been to consider the Shatru as something that we should unite. But if you consider the Chinese civilization, correctly, it was not really that diverse as compared to the Indic civilization. So, what do you think? What happened with Chinese civilization that they also collapsed with European colonies and also invaders? Because I was reading a lot of things, so it came to my mind that how it happened.
चाइनीज के अंदर है ना, इंडिया के अंदर इतना नहीं दिखता है, पर चाइनीज के अंदर जो हम बोलते हैं ना हिस्ट्री राइम्स, जो वो वाला है, तो वो उधर उधर ज्यादा होता है। क्योंकि बेसिकली क्या होता है, जो वहां पे जो होता है ना, स्टेट जो होता है ना वो बहुत ज्यादा सेंट्रलाइज्ड होता है। ठीक है, तो उसके बाद में क्या होता है, अब वो डायनेस्टीज की इनकी जो मिनिमम से मैक्सिमम एज होती है ना, वो कुछ 200 से 200 से 300 से 350 के आसपास इनकी उम्र होती है। ठीक है, जो कोई भी एक डायनेस्टी की आप एज ले लो, तो ये होता होता क्या है बेसिकली कि जो ब्यूरोक्रेसी होती है ना, उस डायनेस्टी को निचोड़ देती है पूरी एक तरह से। जैसे इंडिया के अंदर है ना, जो ब्रिटिशर्स छोड़ के गए हैं ब्यूरोक्रेसी, तो हमारे यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि ब्यूरोक्रेसी सेंट्रलाइज्ड है, पर जो पॉपुलेशन है वो डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड है। ठीक है, चाइनीज के अंदर क्या होता है कि पॉपुलेशन जो होते हैं ना इतने डिसेंट्रलाइज नहीं होती है जितने इंडिया के अंदर है। ठीक है, तो सेंट्रलाइज ब्यूरोक्रेसी को आप एक साइड में, जैसे पर्शिया में कैसा हुआ था कि जैसे ये अरब्स आए थे, तो जैसे ही जो मेन जो सिस्टम है, जैसे चर्च है, जैसे तो कोई भी क्रिश्चियन उसके अंदर कंट्री के अंदर गए, मुस्लिम तो क्या चर्च को ओवरटर्न कर दिया, तो सब लोग मुस्लिम सबको आसानी से बना दिया, क्योंकि उन्होंने ऊपर जो पूरा पावर स्ट्रक्चर था उसको ले लिया, कब्जा कर लिया। अब इंडिया के अंदर कोई आएगा तो क्या होगा, उसको एक एक गांव जाके टर्न करना पड़ेगा। चाइना के अंदर क्या है कि क्योंकि वो इतना ज्यादा सेंट्रलाइज था ना, तो आपको सिर्फ सेंट्रल ब्यूरोक्रेसी को उल्टा करना है। ठीक है, इंडिया के अंदर क्या था कि सेंट्रल ब्यूरोक्रेसी तो छोड़ दो, मतलब गांव के अंदर भी जो ब्यूरोक्रेसी होगी ना, वो किंगडम की जो ब्यूरोक्रेसी है उसका और उसका दोनों का कोई लेना देना नहीं है। ठीक है, बस वो खाली कॉन्टेक्ट है उनका उनका मतलब वैसे कुछ ज्यादा लेना देना नहीं है, जैसे आज इंडिया के अंदर
हाँ,
है,
बस
इतना लेना देना नहीं
टैक्स
था।
देने का काम होता था बस।
हाँ, बस उतना था कि बस आए टैक्स लेने चले गए, बस उससे ज्यादा कुछ लेना देना नहीं था। चाइना के अंदर बहुत ही वो जो सोसाइटी के, हमारे यहाँ पे क्या था, ब्यूरोक्रेसी जो थी ना सोसाइटी के अंदर इनग्रेन नहीं थी। ठीक है, वो एक एक तरह से सोसाइटी के बाहर थे, वो आउटसाइड सोसाइटी थे। अभी अंदर घुसे हुए हैं, तो अभी दिख रहा है हमें। तो चाइना के अंदर क्या था, ब्यूरोक्रेसी एक तरह से उनकी सोसाइटी का पार्ट है। ठीक है, तो आपने अगर उनको ब्यूरोक्रेसी को चेंज कर दिया ना, तो सोसाइटी चेंज हो जाती है, डायनेस्टी चेंज हो जाता है, सब कुछ चेंज हो जाता है। ठीक है, तो माओ ने बेसिकली यही किया ना, जैसे जो क्या था, चेंकाई शेक था, तो उसने भी वही किया था, ब्यूरोक्रेसी खाली चेंज की थी उसने। ठीक है, और चेंका शेख को भगाने के बाद में माओ ने भी खाली ब्यूरोक्रेसी चेंज की है। ठीक है, नेशनलिस्ट की जगह उसने कम्युनिस्ट बिठा दिया ब्यूरोक्रेसी में। तो हर डायनेस्टी इसी तरह काम करती है। पहले वाली डायनेस्टी के जो ब्यूरोक्रेट्स होते हैं, या तो वो चेंज हो जाते हैं या उनको हटा दिया जाता है और अपने बिठा दिए जाते हैं। ठीक है, तो आप एक मान लो कि इंडिया में कैसे इतना इतना बड़ा इंडिया है ना, तो इंडिया को आपको अगर कब्जे में करना हो तो खाली आप दिल्ली को पलट दो ना, तो ये इंडिया पूरा पलट जाता है, ऐसा समझो चाइना के अंदर। पर इंडिया के अंदर ऐसा केस नहीं है ना, तो वहां पे खाली आप बीजिंग को पलट दो ना, तो पूरा चाइना पलट हो जाएगा, क्योंकि बीजिंग सब कुछ कंट्रोल करता है इस हिसाब
हाँ,
से।
got it, go ahead, thank you, Jacob.
yeah, I'll continue reading them. Battle of Singoli. Every Hindu chief who wished to approach the barbarian occupying his motherland rejoiced at the possibility of throwing off the barbaric yoke of the marauders once more. Armed with such zeal and fervor of the people and the Samant of Mewad, Hamir collected a vast army and instead of waiting for Tughlaq to attack him, decided to march towards him and meet him at a place and time of his choice. There are three routes to approach Mewad: western route through Marwar, the central route through Devar, and eastern route through the plateaus of Aravalis. Tughlaq was ill-advised by his councillors to approach through the east, where his superior numbers were rendered useless by the intricacies of the narrow passes of Mewar. Tughlaq was resting with his army of 70,000 cavalry and 20,000 infantry on the banks of the Chambal River at the village of Singoli. In c. 1336, Amir attacked Tughlaq with an army of 20,000 cavalry, slaughtered his army, killed most of his generals, and also killed Maldiv's grandson. Haridas in one-to-one combat and took Tughlaq as prisoner. Hami's destruction of the combined Tughlaq and Jalor forces should educate us about the so-called Delhi Sultanate, which finds such eulogistic references in our history textbooks, when in reality they were mere occupations of a few hundred square kilometers by Muslim gangsters. All this so-called greatness of the Delhi Sultanate is thrust down our throats as history, while even a passing reference to Maharana Hamir and his critical victory over these robbers from Delhi has been erased from our textbooks and civic life. A note must be made that most of the Indian historians relied on Persian or Arabic record keepers for digging out the truth about medieval India. One such writer has been Firishta, who has been quoted extensively by Indian historians. When Firishta, himself being loyal to his faith, completely obliterates him in the mention of this battle of Singoli. Only a few inscriptions from Jain temples of the time and the return of Mewar to her lost splendor direct us to the truth recorded in the annals and kyatis of Mewar. It is a matter of shame for academicians and historians of modern India that they participated in this thumbing of Indian history, conning of Indian history, the motives of which only they can tell. If teachers also, I think this is the map that they put on the internet usually, which is quite an exaggeration because I think most of the south was basically Malik Kafur's invasion, which was temporary in this map.
Yes,
अरे दूसरा भी है ना,
Ninar,
इसका कोई सोर्स
no,
नहीं है, ये
no,
किसी
no, one
में
more
जैसे
thing.
हाँ
One more thing important. Actually, I was speaking to one author, okay, one a doctor and an author. He lives in Karnataka, okay,
Ah,
and he has written a book in his native language, Kannada. And in that Kannada language native book, he has wrote on history of the kingdoms of South India, including Chalukyas and others,
ah,
where actually we have seen that from people, the kingdoms from North India, were actually like they would invade others and they will occupy those places temporarily. And same thing has also happened that one kingdom, I forgot the name. I'll have the author come and talk about his book. His book is in Kannada, but he can speak English. So we will
राष्ट्रकूटर
yeah,
also,
yeah.
yeah,
Ah,
Rashtrakutas.
Rashtra.
So yeah, and they had actually expanded their kingdom up to Kannauj in UP.
हम्म हम्म
Yes.
So we see these kinds of events that the kingdoms would actually expand to up to pan India level. Okay, and when we talk about Chandragupta Maurya, he had expanded his kingdom up to Afghanistan itself. So this so-called historical events which took place, sorry, historians who would mention that Bharat as a civilization, as a political entity did not exist, and we were only small kingdoms. That is something which is historically wrong. That many times during our ancient time, we had kingdoms who had pan India empires, maybe for short period, but they still had. So, and correct, you will not find a lot of documented history. But if you go and talk to the rural people, the oral history, you will see that these events did take place. Yes, Nina and Shekhar.
हाँ मैप के बारे में बोलूंगा कि इसका कोई सोर्स नहीं है, जो इन्होंने बताया ना यहाँ पे चिपकाया है
Hmm,
मैप
hmm,
का,
hmm, hmm.
ये विकिपीडिया की तरह है, ठीक है ना। तो वो क्या
हाँ, ये
साइटेशन लूप में
विकिपीडिया पे ही
घुमाते
है।
हैं ना। हाँ नहीं, तो वो विकिपीडिया में कैसे करते हैं, जैसे मान लो कि मेरा आज मन हुआ कि मुझे कोई एक डायनेस्टी का मैप बनाना है, ठीक है, तो मैप क्या करूंगा, मैप उठा लूंगा, मैप बना दूंगा और विकिपीडिया पे ऐड कर दूंगा, ठीक है। और विकिपीडिया उसको सर्कुलेट करेगा हर जगह। अभी ये किसी ऑथर ने
अच्छा,
रिसर्च
if I
करके नहीं
if I recall
डाला हुआ है।
correctly,
हाँ
this is from Irfan Habib's map. I think so. I remember it.
तो अब वो कहाँ से लाए, वो भी उनको पता होना चाहिए ना। क्योंकि साउथ तक
हाँ
तो वो
हाँ,
कभी पहुंचे ही नहीं थे, इतने साउथ तो पहुंचे ही नहीं
सिर्फ
वो। साउथ में
सिर्फ
भी
एक इन्वेजन हुआ
अच्छा
मलिक काफूर का।
नहीं, इसमें भी इसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम होता है, ये ईस्टर्न कोस्ट पे नहीं पहुंचे थे वो, ठीक है, वो कर्नाटका की
हाँ
साइड से
हाँ,
आए थे वो आंध्रा की
मदुराई
साइड
तक।
से नहीं आए थे नीचे। तो
बिल्कुल।
वो पूरा इधर रॉन्ग बता रहे वो भी मतलब क्या रेफरेंस तो कोई चीज का देते ही नहीं है, रेफरेंस तो लेना देना नहीं है।
इसमें देखो,
आज भी अगर कोई
महाराष्ट्र का कोस्ट भी ऐड कर दिया, पर महाराष्ट्र में
हाँ
सिर्फ मेरे को याद है देवगिरी आए थे, पर देवगिरी से सीधा काकटियास के यहाँ गए थे, तेलंगाना। तो बाकी महाराष्ट्र कहाँ लिया?
अरे काकाटियास भी लिया कहाँ था, काकाटियास खाली एक वॉर हारे थे, काकाटियास तो ट्रिब्यूटरी बन गए थे, ठीक है।
हाँ
और अगर दूसरी वॉर के अंदर जो दूसरी वॉर हुई थी उसके अंदर इनके तो ये फ्रैक्चर हो गया था काकतीय, तो छोटे छोटे फिefdoms बन गए थे, छोटे छोटे किंगडम बन गए थे। सेम चीज जो आई थिंक कौन से थे
हाँ,
जो महाराष्ट्र में जो थे,
डायनेस्टी के लोग तो लेके चले गए थे ना दिल्ली, काकटियास को उठा के लेके चले गए।
काकाटियस को और काफी सारे नोबल्स को लेके गए थे वो लोग। तो उसी में से आई
हाँ
थिंक जो ये विजयनगर के दोनों है ना, जो
हाँ,
जो
हरिहर और
जिन्होंने जो
बुक्का।
फाउंडर्स है, हाँ वो भी वो काकाटियास के ही थे आई थिंक, जो उनका मेंशन आता है कि वो जो आज के जो प्रेजेंट डे तेलंगाना जो कर्नाटका बॉर्डर है ना, वहां के कहीं के वो थे, रूलर थे वो फील्डम्स के, तो उसका है। तो ये मैप का तो कुछ लेना देना ही नहीं है, क्योंकि कोई सिग्निफिकेंस नहीं है। अभी देखो ना मैप के अंदर जो बंगाल पोर्शन है ना, वो बंगाल ये लोग वहां पहुंचे ही नहीं थे। बंगाल के अंदर इनके जो ट्रिब्यूटरीज थे, यहाँ इनका जो खुद का वहां के वो नहीं था, डायरेक्ट कंट्रोल नहीं था। दूसरा जो था पॉइंट जो है कि ये जो राजस्थान वाला एरिया है ना, ये पूरा वो बताते हैं उसके अंदर इंक्लूडेड है, वो
हाँ
राजस्थान का
हाँ,
एरिया वो पूरा था ही
पूरा
नहीं।
और ब्लैक कर दिया।
हाँ, और तीसरा जो एक जो अ,
उड़ीसा डाल
कि
दिया।
हो
ये
होयसालास
ये
जो है ना,
हिमाचल उत्तराखंड
होयसालास को
डाल
भी
दिया
गायब कर
वहां
दिया
पर
इन
जो।
लोगों ने।
हाँ हाँ,
होयसालास को भी तो गायब कर दिया ना इन लोगों ने।
होयसला पांड्यास।
होयसालास,
साउथ
हाँ
में पांड्या
पांड्यास तो
थे।
गए नहीं थे, पांड्यास भी बहुत लेट गए थे।
वही थे।
और ये होयसालास को भी गायब कर दिया इन लोगों ने, उसका अलग ही चल रहा है। तो ये मैप का कोई रेफरेंस नहीं है, मैप तो आज मैं बना दूं और अपलोड कर दूं और वो मैप ये लोग कहीं पे चिपका देंगे रेफरेंस में। अब अभी अगर
तो
आपको मैप का रेफरेंस ही देखना हो ना, तो ये अगर आप जानना है ना कैसे करने का, मैप कैसे चेक करने का कि ये सही है कि नहीं है, तो ये चंद्रगुप्त का मैप देखना, चंद्रगुप्त एम्पायर का, मौर्य का, जो मौर्य एम्पायर का। उसमें एक चीज नोटिस करना, जो ये आज ये आता है ना, अक्साई चीन। अक्साई चीन जो होता है ना, सबके अंदर मिसिंग होता है। सारे मैप एम्पायर जो भी मैप बनाएंगे ना एम्पायर्स के अंदर,
हाँ,
तो
इसमें भी
उसके
दिख रहा
अंदर
है वो कैसे
आज, हाँ
पीओके
इसके अंदर भी ये
उनके
लोग क्या,
साइड में।
हाँ तो ये क्या करेंगे, जो अक्साई चीन वाला एरिया ना वो मिस कर देंगे ये लोग, ठीक है। और उसके अंदर भी ये लोग अफगानिस्तान तक ही जाएंगे, अफगानिस्तान के ऊपर नहीं जाएंगे। ना ही ये लोग ईरान के आज भी अगर आप इनका मैप देखो ना, तो ये आज प्रेजेंट डे जो बलूचिस्तान है ना, जो पाकिस्तान के अंदर है, उससे ईस्ट नहीं जाते, वेस्ट नहीं जाते ये लोग। जबकि बलूचिस्तान उसके भी आई थिंक 50% 60% आई थिंक पाकिस्तान के पास है, और 30% ईरान के पास, और 10% आई थिंक अफगानिस्तान के पास है। तो ये ईस्टर्न पार्ट वेस्टर्न पार्ट में जाते ही नहीं है ईरान के, ईरान के ईस्टर्न पार्ट में। तो वो जो वेस्टर्न बलूचिस्तान उसमें जाएंगे ही नहीं। तो ये बेसिकली जो ब्रिटिशर्स के टाइम पे जो इंडियन सब कॉन्टिनेंट था ना, उनके जो कब्जे में था, उसी की ये लोग आउटलाइन बना देंगे, और उसी को कोई ना कोई एम्पायर का नाम दे देंगे, और वो वैसे उसी तरह से मैप बनाएंगे। अभी कभी देखना गुप्ता एम्पायर का, कुशांस का भी देखोगे ना, तो वो ये जो अक्षय जी ने मिसिंग होगा उसके अंदर भी। तो ये मतलब गजब सी चीज है। तो उस टाइम अक्षय जी तो 62 का इशू है ना, तो वहां कहाँ अक्षय चिन्ह तुम ये मिसिंग पिसिंग कर रहे हो, मतलब अजीब सा है कि
अच्छा, मैं
अलग ही चल रहा है
कुषाण
उस
का
टाइम।
जो एरिया था, वो जो सिंजियांग से आए थे, वहां से बिल्कुल ही बगल में पड़ता है एक्साइचिन, तो उनका ही एरिया हो गया।
हाँ,
कॉमन
अरे
सेंस।
फिर भी मिशिंग कर रहे हैं ये लोग, मतलब गजब ही कर रहे हैं कि जो
हाँ,
जो ऊपर जैसे दो कान बनते हैं ना इंडिया के कश्मीर के अंदर, एक कान जो पीओके वाला बनता है और दूसरा जो अक्सर चीन बनता है। तो अक्सर चीन वाले में ये लोग राउंड अबाउट जो ये कटोरे की तरह गोल गोल कर देंगे उसको, वो पूरा पोर्शन ही हटा देंगे।
इस मैप में भी दिख रहा है ना पूरा ऊपर, कश्मीर को पूरा काट लिया।
हाँ, इसमें भी वही कर रहे हैं।
हाँ, तो आई विल कंटिन्यू रीडिंग देन। Hello, can you hear me?
Y- Yes, yes, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. If teachers and record keepers start concealing the truth and peddling white lies in society, then total destruction of such a society is inevitable. Credit goes to the local history keepers of Mewar and the folklore singers and storytellers who kept the truth of Hamir Singh alive in the consciousness of the local population. Hamir took Tughlaq to Chittor and kept him prisoner for 3 months. The mighty Delhi Sultanate's ruler was kept captive like a dog in the ordinary prison of Chittor, but not one soul from the Delhi Sultanate dared to lead an attack on Chittor to free him from the clutches of Hamir. Thus, it can be safely deduced what the real power center of Bharatvarsha was in 14th century CE. It was Mewad for sure. Tughlaq was forced to surrender Ajmer, Ranthambore, Nagaland, and Shivpuri to Humayr, besides giving rupees 50 lakh as fine and 100 war elephants as a penalty. Amir was so confident by now that while releasing Tughlaq, he did not extract any promise from him of launching no further attacks on Chittor. Amir is reported to have said to Tughlaq as he stood in chains in the royal courts of Mewar, "If you were ever to attack Chittor again, be prepared that I will defend Chittor, not from within, but outside her walls." Thus humiliated and defamed, Tughlaq was released by Hamir, and his decisive victory over Islamic imperialists remains one of the most crucial yet unsung stories of a great king who was the sole Hindu power center left in 14th century. Tughlaq ran around the Indian subcontinent in quest of a kingdom he could never build. He was defeated by Raja Prithvi Chand of Angra in Himachal, where 1 lakh soldiers of his army were killed. Tughlaq was defeated by the mighty Vijayanagar Empire too, the Singoli, and died while going on a campaign to Thatta in Sindh in CE 1351. Acha, so on that map also, actually they have marked this area of Himachal, and I know they have marked it specifically because their claim will be that Tughlaq went and invaded Kangra, and that is part of the empire. But he was defeated there after he looted the fort. That is the actual truth.
हम्म ये विजयनगर की बात की ना, वो तब तक बन गया था 36 के आसपास। विजयनगर की फाउंडिंग हो गई थी,
हाँ हाँ.
तो वो भी। हाँ।
We have with us
अलाउद्दीन
Rishi.
खिलजी के बाद ही
Rishi,
स्टार्ट हुआ.
yeah, we have Rishi with us. So Rishi, if you want to speak something, you
हम्म,
can unmute and speak. Okay, or else we will continue.
Yeah, namaste to all, Nenar, Shekhar, Dada, and all the audiences as well. I was just
नमस्कार.
thinking, why is it that every time, yes, namaskar. So I was just thinking if you could, anybody could comment like in shorter time. So uh, why is it that whenever so-called Turkish kings invaded some areas, it is always shown as if they have controlled it and it's under areas are under their suzerainty. So why is this attitude adopted in historiography? Just wanted to ask that. So because the map above shows even Mewar is under uh, Tughlaq's rule as well, which is why this question came up to me.
I think probably it's just done to exaggerate how much they actually own, right? It is not exactly a non-biased source. Also, the usual historians who cover them. Most of the historians who do the work on this, they come from institutions like AMU and all that.
So it's basically self-aggrandizing project.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can say that probably.
Rishi, one more
Okay.
thing is important. Yeah, one more thing is
Yes. Yes.
important that we need to understand is that there has been a kind of a selective history retelling. Okay. So as I mentioned, correct, the southern kingdoms were actually expanded till Kannauj, okay, in UP, but we do not find those sources mentioned in our in our history books. So it's the a kind of a disease where people would write their history, people who are historians who write their history, and they would put their own opinions as historical facts. Okay, so and that's always been the case. Like any king, when he would ask the person to write my history, the kingdom of my history, they will do some exaggeration and they will remain as documents. And after 500 years, people will forget whether whatever is written in that document, which is commissioned by the king himself, how much it is true and how much it is fiction. So
True.
that also is one cause of this.
एक और बात भी तो है ना कि ये एक तो पहले तो लेजी जो है ना, इसमें लेजीनेस बहुत है। तो ये क्या बड़ा सा जैसे ब्रिटिशर्स करते थे ना, बड़ी सी लाइन बना दो, ग्राउंड रियलिटी से कोई मतलब लेना देना नहीं है उनका, ठीक है ना। कहीं पे भी कुछ भी लाइन बना दो, बॉर्डर बना दो, और वो कंट्रीज देखेंगे बॉर्डर बनाने के बाद में। तो ये भी लेजी जो इनका जो है ना बिहेवियर है कि जाके रिसर्च करना नहीं है, बस हाँ मैप दिख रहा है, बस लाइन बना दो, हाँ यहाँ तक गया होगा। तो जैसे ही हम पिछला मैप डिस्कस कर रहे थे ना, तो ये लेजीनेस आ रही है। दूसरा बात ये क्या कर रहे हैं कि ये जो हिस्ट्री है, इतना ज्यादा सब्जेक्ट को बोरिंग बना दिया है ना, कि जो दूसरे कोई रिसर्च कर भी सकते हैं ना, उनको ना करने दिया जाए, ताकि जो ये झूठ फैला रहे हैं ना, वो झूठ बना रहे। जैसे अभी नई नई बुक्स लिखे जा रहे हैं, जैसे संजीव सान्याल जी ने लिखा था, फिर ये जो आपास जी है, बाबर पे लिखा था बुक। तो ऐसे बुक्स आ रही है क्योंकि अभी लोगों को इंटरेस्ट है बुक के अंदर, हिस्ट्री के अंदर पढ़ के लिखने में। अभी अभी आप 4-5 साल अगर भी पहले भी जाओगे, तो बच्चों को इंटरेस्ट नहीं था ना हिस्ट्री में, तो क्योंकि बोरिंग इतनी बना दी ना हिस्ट्री की, उसको पढ़ने का ही मन नहीं करता।
True. Okay, we can, I guess, continue with the reading. It's going amazing.
Yes. So, Banbir, the other son of Maldev, joined Hamir and went on to become one of his trusted lieutenants. Hamir is quoted to have told Banbir, when granting him the Jagirs of Neemach, Ratanpur, and Kerar, eat, serve, and be faithful. You were once the servant of a Turk, but now of a Hindu of your own faith. For I have taken back my own rock, the rock moistened by the blood of my ancestors, the gift of the deity I adore, and who will maintain me in it, nor shall I endanger it with the worship of a fair face, as did my predecessor. Maldev died of old age in Jalore. Banbir was a Sungara prince. In this alliance of the Sisodiyas, the Sungaras proved critical for the survival of the Sisodiyas, as we witness in the ascent of Maharana Pratap to the throne in his relentless fight against the imperialist Turk Akbar. Amir became the sole prince of power in northwest, surrounded by the Muslim states Delhi, Malwa, and Gujarat, but capable of expelling all three. The state of incessant conflict in and around Delhi was very favorable to Mewad when the Khiljis, Tughlaqs, Sayyids, Lodis, and Suris kept deposing and murdering each other for 2 centuries. The power of Mewad is so well consolidated by Hamir that for the next 6 generations, spanning 2 centuries, Mewad not only repelled armies from her territory but carried the war abroad, leaving tokens of victory at Nagaur, Malwa, Saurashtra, and up to the walls of Delhi. The Hindu chiefs of Marwar, Ajmer, Bundi, Gwalior, Chanderi, Raisan, Sipri, Kalpi, Abu, etc., bought their levies and paid homage to the Prince of Chittor. Mewar saw unprecedented wealth and prosperity in the times of Hamir. The trade routes flourished, and the people of Mewar became the richest in India. The architecture and the scale of buildings, columns, and temples of those times bear witness to this unprecedented prosperity. Creating a false narrative around a non-existent Delhi Sultanate and erasing the name and deeds of Maharana Hamir Singh of Mewar. Mewar is a sin committed by modern Indian historians for which responsibility should be fixed and people named and shamed for these acts of commission and omission. Hamir invited Mata Barwadi from Khor in Gujarat and hosted her in Chittor with full honor and affluence. He even constructed a temple in her memory called the Annapurna Temple. It stands at the fort of Chittor even today. Hamir's story, from birth to death, is a surreal saga of what Sisodia princes endured in medieval India to keep themselves free from Islamic invaders and maintain Hindu Dharma at the core of their lives. Think, so it continues. This is a picture of the Annapurna temple made in memory of Barwadi Mata in the Chittor fort. That Mewad came back from the brink of extinction by the miraculous intervention of Mata Barwadi is a well-documented incident of Mewad's rich history. The descendants of Baru Barhat still inhabit the villages around Chittor as bearers of the timeless truth. It not only demonstrates the deep influence of Charans on the Sisodia clan, but also that they were well-wishers and even protectors and providers of this brave clan of Rajputs when all had abandoned them. Why else would a mystic lady of Gujarat rebuild Mewad's kingdom from scratch, investing her goodwill and resources, risking enmity not only with Islamic imperialists but also other houses of Rajasthan? It was only out of her unflinching love and trust that the great Sisodiyas of Mewad were the only hope for Hindu survival in the subcontinent. Amir's conquest of the Delhi Sultanate and imprisonment of Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a dagger into the heart of Islamists who were dreaming of Islamizing the nation after capturing Chittor and Ranthambore and attempting near decimation of Sisodia Rajput clan of Mewad. Amir ruled uninterruptedly for almost 50 years, rebuilt Hindu temples all over the region of Gaya and Banaras, and died at a ripe age due to natural reasons. He left behind a name venerated in Mewar as one of the wisest, most gallant, and invincible, unbeatable kings of Mewar, bequeathing a well-established and extensive Hindu kingdom to his sons. Yeah, so I think that was the end of the chapter. Did you guys have any things to discuss about?
No.
So about the yeah. So about the night raid of Hamir upon the Tughlaq forces, do you think this shows a certain uh, genius trick of Rana Hamir, given he had such little forces with him, that he took some unorthodox positions for warring against the against the Turks, since many of us in India till now hear that rulers of India actually had a court of war and so on and so forth, and this was the reason why they were being defeated by the Turks, especially. What would you like to comment on? Would you like to comment on this? Any of the three of you?
I think in that context, for them, it would be apad dharma, that they have to break some rules uh, in order to protect the actual, to bring back the actual order in which they can actually follow the rules. So, yeah, I think it was necessary in that time.
Mhm.
Shekhar, do you have anything to say on that?
Hello. I think
Do you have anything? Yeah.
हाँ, I think majorly तो ये हम जो देखेंगे ना जो नाइट रेड्स है या जो अनऑर्थोडॉक्स जो मेथड्स है यूज होंगे ना ये तभी होंगे यूज जबकि वो आई थिंक डेस्परेट सिचुएशन में होंगे ना तभी होंगे अगर वो जैसे ये ज्यादातर जो यूज कर रहे थे ना ये इनके पास खुद के कैसल्स नहीं थे ठीक है मतलब फोर्ट्स नहीं थे कैसल्स नहीं थे मतलब मिनिमम स्टैंडर्ड आर्मी नहीं थी वही यूज कर रहे थे ये सब तो एक बार आपके पास स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ आर्मी आ जाता है ना मिनिमम तो ये सब यूज करना बंद कर देते थे ये लोग तो ये इनकी आई थिंक जो मेन प्रॉब्लम थी ना वो ये थी इनको लगता था कि वो अब काम नहीं आएंगे या फिर जो यूज कर रहे थे ना वो जैसे हामिद सिंह है, तो इनका तो टाइम हो गया था, तो ये तो आई थिंक इनके जो डिसेंडेंट्स थे ना, उन्होंने यूज करना बंद कर दिया था, क्योंकि वो तो सारे के सारे ज्यादातर फोर्ट्स में ही पैदा हुए हैं और उन्होंने फोर्ट्स ही देखे हैं ना, तो उन्होंने ये इस तरह की फाइटिंग देखी नहीं थी, तो उससे भी फर्क पड़ सकता है।
Okay, so can we say this also as well कि Rana Hamir Singh, since he was like his upbringing was in forests and amongst tribes, he had this unorthodox characteristic as well due to that very reason. Uh, like he had to fight dacoits, he had to fight wars in such terrains and in such stratagems. So using those wasn't really unorthodox for him, but at least it was unorthodox from from the perspective of Indian kings. Could we say that his upbringing could have been one of the reasons for such a tactic?
नहीं, मेन वही रीजन है दादा। इसका एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ आपको। जैसे समझो कि कोई जो ये अमीर आदमी, जो अमीरों के बच्चे हैं ना, ये मान लो कि किसी के कोई वॉर मीटिंग में जाके बैठे हो, ठीक है? तो ये क्या करेंगे, रूल से प्ले करेंगे, ठीक है? इनके हिसाब से रूल्स तोड़ना यानी पाप है एक तरह से, समझ रहे हो आप? पर कोई
Mhm.
स्ट्रीट पे जो जाएगा ना, मान लो कि जो स्ट्रीट से उठ के आया है जनरल, उसके हिसाब से कुछ भी पाप नहीं है, सब कुछ चलता है, क्योंकि उसको खाली सर्वाइवल की पड़ी है ना, उसको हाई मोराल से कोई मतलब नहीं है। हाई मोराल्स जो होती है ना, ये बकेती आ, ये एलीट लोग करते हैं, ठीक है ना? उस स्ट्रीट वाला बंदे के पास में खाली सर्वाइवल का पड़ा है उसको। उसको हाई मोरल से कोई मतलब नहीं है। तो ये जो कर रहे थे ना हाई मोरल्स वाली जो नौटंकी है, ये वही करते हैं जिनको बेसिकली जो ग्राउंड से जुड़े नहीं होते, ठीक है ना? ये एक एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ आपको। तो जो फोर्ट्स में पैदा होते हैं ना, तो उनको हाई मोरल्स और वो सब में पड़ा ज़्यादा। जैसे पकड़ लेते थे, फिर छोड़ देते थे। जैसे इनको बार-बार हरा-हरा के पकड़ लेते थे, फिर हाई मोरल दिखाने के लिए छोड़ देते थे। तो ये नौटंकी है ना, ये आपको राणा संगा करते हुए नहीं दिखेंगे, जो कि जुड़े हुए थे ना, जैसे महाराणा प्रताप है, वो सब नौटंकी करते हुए नहीं दिखेंगे उनसे। पर ये लोग करेंगे, क्योंकि इनको एक तरह से वैलिडेशन जो होता है ना, वो उनको मिलता है उनसे, हाई मोरल से।
I think also it was the era where shame was regarded as much more worse than death. Uh, Getting imprisoned and being insulted is much more worse than being dead in the battlefield. वो भी एक है, I guess, psychological effect. तो ये बार बार ये करना कि तुमको इम्प्रिजन करके फिर तुम्हारा इंसल्ट करना,
That's why
तुम्हें मिसट्रीट करना.
that's why they used to burn
हम्म.
themselves alive, right?
हाँ, ये इन्वेडर्स भले
Before
आ गए
getting
हो,
captured.
पर जो सोसाइटी थी वो मेजरली हिंदू थी ना, तो ये शेम वाला जो आप बोल रहे हो, ये एंगल काम करता था। पर जब मुगल आ गए थे ना, तो ना कोर्ट्स में कोई हिंदू था, ना मतलब हिंदू बहुत ही कम हो गए थे, जो नॉर्थ इंडिया में थे ना, वो बहुत कम हो गए थे हिंदू उस टाइम। और जो थे भी, तो उससे कोई ज्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता था, क्योंकि जो जो इस्लामिक सोसाइटी थी ना, उसकी मॉरलिटी और वो सब आ गया था, तो शेम का और इस्लामिक सोसाइटी से कोई लेना देना नहीं है। तो जो सोसाइटी का बैकड्रॉप है ना, वो चेंज हो गया था। वो हिंदू नहीं रहा था तब तक, जब तक मुगल आए थे।
हम्म. हाँ, नेनर तू कुछ बोल रहा था. सो
So I was saying that that's why they used to like burn themselves alive before getting captured. Even the men used to do that.
ट्रू
उसमें तो
ट्रू ट्रू.
मोरल का कुछ लेना देना नहीं
या
है, वो तो सर्वाइवल पे है बेसिकली।
नहीं, I think he's talking about impact and the impact of shame. Like we have the example, maybe Nainer can correct me on this. So even when that Malik Kafur attacked the Kakatiya kingdom and defeated, I think his name is Pratap Rudra or something. I'm forgetting his name. The last king of
हाँ हाँ हाँ
Kakatiyas. He also burned himself after getting captured. Like he was being taken back to Delhi, but
Ah,
on the way he burned himself. Mhm.
Yes,
आई
correct.
थिंक 50-50
And
है, शेम का कुछ था आई थिंक, पर मैं
Uh,
ऐसा नहीं मानूंगा कि पूरी तरह से था, थोड़ा बहुत था बैकड्रॉप शेम का.
there's a
even
question from
Raja,
Didi. Yeah,
yeah,
so there's a question from Didi, which is a very interesting question. I think we should take this because it's an interesting thing. Uh, Didi is saying that kings were trained historically. So we can see, correct, if yeah, we when Rishi was reading, correct, Chhatrapati Shambhaji Maharaj's book that he wrote, correct, he also got training from very
Yes,
young
yes.
age. Okay. So, Shekhar is from that region. Shekhar will be able to give bit enlightenment that in the western part of including Maharashtra, Rajasthan, and Gujarat. So, was this training the future king? Okay, was a kind of a very common among even smaller kingdoms. Uh,
डिपेंड करता है दादा, वो चेंज होता रहता है ना, क्योंकि डायनेस्टीज लास्ट नहीं करते ना. आप वैसे
हाँ,
आप देखोगे तो हाँ करते थे, मतलब कॉमन था, पर आई डोंट थिंक कि उसमें जो मेंटोर होता था ना, उसपे बहुत ज्यादा डिपेंड करता था. ट्रेन तो सभी करते थे, जो मेंटोर होता था ना उसपे बहुत ज्यादा डिपेंड करता था, क्योंकि अगर जो मेंटोर अगर बराबर नहीं हुआ ना, तो जो डिसेंडेंट्स है ना वो सारे के सारे फिर वो मतलब अच्छे नहीं आते फिर.
but in this case, as it is written that इसमें लिखा है कि हमीर सिंह जो थे वो गांव में ही थे जब तक मतलब जो उनके क्या थे, ब्रदर ब्रदर कौन से थे, उनके फादर के ब्रदर ना.
कजिन आई थिंक,
हाँ,
उनके
अंकल.
अंकल
हाँ.
थे आई थिंक.
हाँ, जब तक वो आए वो गांव में ही थे, तो अभी तक
हाँ
मतलब
हम्म.
मोस्ट लाइकली ट्रेनिंग नहीं हुआ उनका,
हाँ हाँ,
नॉर्मल
वही
राजपूत
बोल रहा हूँ
लाइफ
ना,
ही
जो
होगा.
जो बेसिक जो जो स्ट्रीट पर रहते हैं ना, उनको ये हाई मोरल और वो सब वो जानते हैं रियलिटी से, उनका लेना देना है ना रियलिटी से. तो वो जो है ना वो बहुत अच्छे से डील कर सकते हैं, ये जो रियल पॉलिटिक होती है ना, उनको ज्यादा अच्छे से समझ आती है, rather देन कि एक नोबल जो कि कैसल में पैदा हुआ है, उसको भी आता है पर उसको अगर ट्रेनिंग देना पड़ता है. पर एक नॉर्मल बंदे को अगर बिना ट्रेनिंग भी जो लाइफ है वो सिखा देती है.
Yes, yes, it's very important. But actually, training is something which is refines the ruler, the king, or the warrior. तो अगर ट्रेनिंग ठीक से ना हो तो
हाँ
दैट ऑल्सो कुड बी रीजन के लाइक वी वर लिटिल बिट वीक इन टर्म्स ऑफ टैक्टिक्स के कैसे करना है, किस टाइम
हाँ,
पे किस मोरल का इस्तेमाल करना है, मोरल.
गाइडेंस तो यूजफुल होता है, मतलब कोई गुरु होता है बहुत अच्छा होता है ना. चाणक्य was
हाँ
like
या
हाँ.
with Chandragupta and so on.
Yes, yes.
या
Yes, yes.
यस सो
हाँ,
ऋषि
एक
टू
और चीज
क्वेश्चन
So,
फॉर यू.
पता चली थी मुझे
yes.
हाँ,
कि
बोलो बोलो बोलो.
जो चाणक्य जो अर्थशास्त्र है ना, उनका रेफरेंस 12th सेंचुरी के आसपास आना बंद हुआ था, 11th या 12th मैं भूल रहा हूँ एग्जैक्टली. तो वो भी एक मिस्टीरियस चीज है कि उसी टाइम आना बंद हुआ था.
I have the evidence of that. Why? Why is it so?
हाँ बोलो.
प्लीज गो अहेड ऋषि.
On Chanakya, yeah. So, if someone has time, please, one can refer to Bana Bhatta's Harsha Charita. Bana Bhatta was the court poet, advisor of King Harshavardhana, the famous Harshavardhana. So, in his text, he lampoons Chanakya very much. And this is like shown as a high culture thing within the intellects of those times कि चाणक्य को असुर राक्षस की तरह दिखाया जा रहा था by one section of intellects of those that era. He actually depicts that, so it's not
Yes,
nothing
yes.
surprising that उसके बाद हाँ उसके बाद
हाँ,
मतलब चाणक्य
इसमें
का मतलब रेस्पेक्ट कम
इसमें
होता गया
क्वेश्चन था,
because
इसमें बुद्धिस्टों का कितना
yes
इन्फ्लुएंस है?
please
इसमें बुद्धिस्टों का कितना
है
इन्फ्लुएंस है
वो भी
जो
है
आप बोल रहे हो ना?
वो बहुत है हाँ हाँ वो है
उसमें
क्योंकि उस टाइम पे
वो
हाई टाइम
मतलब
पे
जो
था ना बुद्धिज्म. हाँ
या एग्जैक्टली सो Banabhatta actually uses the phrases which are pretty much मतलब बुद्धिस्ट जैन जो टर्मिनोलॉजी है फॉर मॉरल्स उसके पर्सपेक्टिव में मतलब वो चाणक्य को मतलब इविल दिखाया जा रहा है. So the reference he gives is very much from that perspective, in fact. So yeah, that's the case. कि
Rishi,
आई
one
मतलब
थिंक
more.
अगर आप
चाणक्य.
वैसे देखो, हाँ,
हम्म,
Shekhar, go ahead. Shekhar, go ahead. Shekhar.
मैं बोल रहा था कि अगर उसे लॉजिकली देखो तो बुद्धिज्म एक सोशलिज्म का ही वो लगता है, पैरेलल लगता है ना, जिस तरह से वो डीलिंग करते हैं मोरल्स के अंदर.
Yes. So, Rishi, a question to you because you will be able to better answer it.
हम्म,
So, this
हम्म,
advent of asceticism, correct, as a kind of a high moral
हम्म,
ground which people took at that time,
हम्म,
was this a
हम्म,
kind of a kind of it born out of excesses by the high class people, okay, or over the state, where correct any philosophy will go through a bit of a trot and crest. So moral corruption will take place over time, okay, and the
हम्म.
Vedas and the Upanishads, correct, they also can be interpreted in many other ways, okay. So this moral degradation
Yes.
took place, and with that in mind, correct, this asceticism took a kind of a ascendance to actually counter those moral degradations, which will happen eventually on any philosophy, any school of thought will take place.
Actually, it's a great point that you have brought up. So, if anybody tries reading the Three Pitaka, or even I will say that best is to refer to Ashwaghosa's Buddha Charita. So, we can get the glimpse of it that how Buddhism as a philosophy rose up. It was very much against a society which was totally, I mean, the writers of those eras are showing that the era society was totally uh, merged in pleasures, merged in politics, merged in so many things which were today which we would call sensual and so on and so forth. And this came out of that movement to dissuade people from getting into those things. So if you read Ashwaghosa's Saundarananda, another text, even in that you see the Buddhist monks going to parks and dissuading males, the guys over there who came with their girlfriends, yeah, basically girlfriends, uh, uh, like advising them not to get into these things, to stay away from pleasures of life and so on and so forth. So uh, again, then we get to see some of the references like stopping yagnas, stopping major celebrations, also dissuading people from going to various places for tirthas. Also, yes, those things are also mentioned. So this came out of that movement. Actually, it was a reactionary movement, I would say. Ninar, by the way, knows something pretty well because once he can actually explain to us over in this stream about one of the letters which was sent by Nagarjuna, the famous Buddhist monk, to one of the Satavahana kings, Shatakarni, on policies of a government. You will be amazed what
Yes,
was there.
yes.
So, Ninar, please, if you could tell us.
So yeah, Rishi and I had discussed one letter. I think it was from an inscription or something given to us, Satvahana king, and you would see that in the letter, the monk is actually advising suicide and empathy. That is like you have to be nice to criminals at any cost. You have to be nice to these people at any cost. And so the king was supposed to forego all people, including criminals, forgive them basically. And yeah, so it is quite interesting.
Looks like California of in ancient
आई
times.
थिंक, हाँ, इससे आप कनेक्ट कर सकते हो कि जो हुआ क्या था कि जो पूरा जो वर्ल्ड था ना, वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड, जो मिडिल ईस्ट और वो जो पूरा है, वो सब डिस्ट्रॉय हो गया था इस्लाम की वजह से 7th-8th सेंचुरी के आसपास। इंडिया जो था ना, वो बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉस्पर हुआ था उस टाइम। ये लोग सिंध तक तो आ गए थे एक दो बार, पर ये लोग अफगानिस्तान तक तो 10th या 11th सेंचुरी तक नहीं आए थे। और उसके उसके बाद भी ये लोग बलूचिस्तान तक वापस भगा दिए गए थे बलूचिस्तान से। तो उस टाइम जो था ना, प्रॉस्पेरिटी एकदम हाइट पे थे हम लोग। हम लोग ने चाइना को टेक ओवर कर लिया था उस टाइम, इतना ज्यादा प्रॉस्पर थे हम लोग। और चाइना जो था ना, उस टाइम बहुत ज्यादा इंटरनल इश्यूज फेस कर रहा था। उन उन लोग, चाइना ने अरब से भी लड़ा हुआ था, और उधर से जो इनकर्शंस भी हो रहे थे चाइना के अंदर, नॉर्थ से मंगोल्स के, वहां से वो मंगोल्स के साथ में लड़ रहे थे। तो उसकी वजह से भी हमारा जो जो था ना, इंडिया जो था बहुत प्रॉस्पर हो रहा था। तो आई थिंक सोसाइटल एम्पैथी है ना, वो बहुत ज्यादा जल्दी आई थिंक कैच कर ली होगी सोसाइटी ने, अगर क्योंकि एनवायरनमेंट इस तरह था। क्योंकि अगर आज भी अगर आप कैलिफोर्निया में और उधर देखो, तो ये सेम चीज बहुत जल्दी कैच कर ली थी। आई थिंक एक ही डेकेड लगा इनको कैच करने में, कैलिफोर्निया को पूरा जो है सोसाइटल एम्पैथी में कन्वर्ट होने में।
One more thing, last point before we like go ahead and read the rest of it. So, see, we see correct the spread of Buddhism, okay, across Southeast Asia and even to Philippines. So we see correct different kind of martial art forms uh, even to Japan, correct. So we see a lot of martial art forms which are actually linked to Buddhist traditions and philosophy, which actually flourished, which actually originated most probably in India itself, and it traveled to Japan, China, Thailand, and other countries. So this pacifism, this Buddhist pacifism, is something which is correct, a kind of a strange combination of self-defense martial arts, and which is and they draw the philosophy from Buddha and Buddha's life. Okay. So how this pacifism and self-defense was kind of merged in Southeast Asia, including China, Japan, and other regions. So something to ponder about this, right?
Yeah.
Like the
हाँ,
Buddhist
इस पे
Traditionally,
okay.
हाँ, इसमें एक पॉइंट बोलूँ। ये पता
Mm-hmm.
मैं नाम भूल रहा है स्पेसिफिक मॉन्क का, जो आई थिंक आंध्र प्रदेश से गया था चाइना के अंदर, वो मार्शल आर्ट सिखाने के। शाओलिन जो नहीं है, शाओलिन वाला, ऋषि
Bodhisattva.
दादा आपको पता होगा, शाओलिन वाला गया था ना।
Bodhisattva.
हाँ हाँ,
Yes,
वो तो वो जो
but he
था
was a
ना,
Tamil. He was a Tamil native,
तमिल
not.
नेटिव
He
का
was.
नहीं बोलो, वो पोर्ट से वहां से गया था।
Yes, yes. Pallava prince.
आंध्रा के जो पोर्ट, हाँ। तो वो जो था ना, वो बंदा चाइना जाके वहाँ टेम्पल्स उसने स्टैब्लिश किए थे। वो जापान भी गया था, वहाँ के जो एम्परर होता है ना, वहां पे जाके उसने वहां से मिला था। और उसने भाई ने वो बैन लगाया था, मीट बैन जो है ना, उधर वो बोधि धर्म ने लगवाया था जापान के अंदर पहली बार।
Interesting. So that's what I think we will ask. We have one more person who is a Buddhist script expert, so we'll bring him someday, and we'll talk about this. Because this is very interesting to talk about the pacifism, how the pacifism was
Which
actually.
script?
We have IAM correct in our group, so we'll ask him because
Okay, okay.
he knows a lot about Buddhist scriptures and philosophies. So it's an
हाँ,
interesting
इस पे है
combination.
ना,
I thought about it.
हाँ, इस पे एक कॉन्स्पिरेसी थियरी भी है, पर वो हम बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे, बहुत लंबा हो जाएगा नहीं तो।
Okay, Rishi, you have anything to say, or we'll proceed?
No, please proceed.
Yeah, go ahead with the reading.
So one thing I had on that other thing, that why Chanakya, if I may continue on why exactly they stopped
Yeah,
referencing
go ahead.
him.
हाँ,
Go
बोलो।
ahead.
Yeah, I'm not exactly like confirmed or anything about this, but I saw a few references that Chanakya is considered to be more of the Shukra school of what do you say,
Shukraniti.
political economy. Yeah,
Shukraniti.
and Shukra was not looked upon as favorable because he was on the side of Asuras. And Rishi also mentioned that uh, I think Banabhatta was referring to him as Asuric or something,
Yes,
right?
yes. completely
It
Asuric
might be because
Rakshasa like that.
related. It might be because of the influence
Mm.
of Shukra then. Yeah, so that was his
It's
thing
amazing.
probably.
I'll just stop with this. Yeah. So Maynard, I'll just stop with this, I guess. So um, just a couple of centuries before that, before Bana Bhatta, we have Kamandaka totally praising Chanakya and writing a short commentary on his work. In fact, the Kamandakya Niti Sara, which we know today.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, then
On that specific note, I think it's an interesting thing we need to share. Okay, Nina, your screen will be removed. I will just share my screen. So this is a specific
sure,
book
sure.
which we can read. So let me just. So if you can see this book is by Anand Neelakandan. The name book is The Asura Way, The Contrarian Path to Success. Okay, by Neelakandan. So, so when we talk about correct the Asura pravitti, okay, and they were pravitti, where we see the vices and the pure pavitra things that we do. So it's a very interesting book. I think we will be reading this book in our coming sessions. But just to give audience some thing that the asuras are portrayed as a kind of a negative aspect, negative characters, but it is not black and white. Nothing is black and white in life. Okay, so sometimes you need to use the asura way, sometimes you use the deva way. So it's not either or. So depending on the situation you are, depending on the yuga you are. So now we are in the kali yuga. You have treta yuga, you have Satyu. So depending on which yuga you are, okay, you need to change your ways to actually go by that specific rule. So we are in Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, if you want to have success, if you want to succeed in life, if you want to do something important, it might not be the best way to emulate Sri Ramchandra. Okay. Yeah, you need to emulate a very good aspect of his as well as his character, but you also need to borrow something from the asuras as well, how they lived, how they lived their lives, how they did things, and it's going to be a combination of both because you are living in Kali Yuga. So it's a very interesting book that we will try to read in our coming weeks and months. So it's going to be an interesting take in it. Yeah, Nina, go ahead with the read.
Yes. Maharana Lakshya Singh, Lakha, protector of Hindus, c. 1382 to 1421. After Hamir, his son Kshetra Singh, also known as Maharana Kheta, became the king of Mewad and ruled from 1365 to 82. Kheta was as brave and aggressive as his father. He conquered Ajmer, Mandalgarh, Dusor, and the whole of Chappan and merged them into Mewad. According to the inscriptions around temples in Gogunda, Kheta captured a Muslim invader by the name of Ami Shah and imprisoned him. R.C. Majumdar thinks that this was Dilawar Khan of Malwa, while Veer Vinod names this person as a Tughlaq. G.H. Ojha includes from three different sources, viz. The Shringi inscription, the book called Ek Ling Mahatmya, and Kumbhalgarh inscription that Ami Shah was indeed the ruler of Malwa. The Kumbhalgarh inscription says the Malwa ruler used to have nightmares of Kheta. Kheta caught Ami Shah like a snake catches its sword. Is I think an image of him. Uh, this inscription is another evidence of Mewad's superiority over the so-called Delhi Sultanate and their vassals. Kheta is also known in Mewad as the originator of guerrilla warfare when he used to lure his enemy into the passes of Mewad and then trap them on both sides and slaughter an army many times larger in size. Kheta was very attached to Baru Barhat, who had helped his father Hamir win Chittor. Once, when Baru was insulted by Hada Rajputs of Bundi, Maharana Kheta was killed in the brawl that ensued with the Hadas. Thus, a promising life was yet again abruptly terminated due to a needless infighting amongst the Rajput clans. Maharana Lakha Lakshya Singh, also known as Lakha, was beyond his age when he became the king of Mewar under turbulent circumstances. His great Maharana of Mewar, the grandson of Maharana Hamir, and his life and work are crucial to the history of Mewar for three reasons. One, it was Lakha who defeated the Tughlaq ruler of Delhi at Bagnaur, chased him out of Mewar, and raided Muslim looters up to Gaya in today's Bihar, and liberated it from the clutches of the Islamic invaders. Two, the silver and lead mines of Java were discovered and made productive during his time, and they proved critical to Mewar's economic lifeline in fighting the Islamic invaders. 3. Amazing story of Chunda, his son, who is also referred to as the Bhishma of Rajasthan, brings alive the amazing sacrifice of a son for his father. Let us briefly touch upon each of the aforementioned mentioned points. Wars with the Tughlaqs and the freeing of Gaya. One of the first acts of Lakha as the king was to forgive the Haras of Bundi the death of his father and cement a treaty of friendship with them by granting them 24 villages as Jagir. Ojha narrates an incident where the Bundi fort was reconstructed in sand and then destroyed by Lakha to symbolically take revenge for his father's death. Lakha then set out to conquer the regions of Marwar and perform the destruction of Beratgarh when he built the new city of Badnor. It was at Badnor that Lakha defeated a Tughlaq king and chased him out of Mewar. Tughlaq used to tax the Hindu pilgrims in Gaya. Lakha captured Tughlaq and let him go after extracting heavy penalties from him and forcing him to withdraw the tax levied on Hindus of Kashi, Gaya, and Prayagraj. There are conflicting records by various authors about which Tughlaq was defeated and chased away by Lakha. Tod refers to Muhammad Lodi, but the Lodi dynasty started good 20 years after Lakha's moksha. Veer Binod says that it was Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, but Ghiyasuddin ruled much before Lakha became a king. Besides, Rana Hamir was well documented to have defeated Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Ghiyasuddin's son, at Singoli, so this seems improbable. In all likelihood, it was a great grandson of Ghiyasuddin by the name of Ghiyatuddin Tughlaq, as pointed out by Shyaman Das. It could also be a local Muslim lord of Uttar Pradesh and/or Bihar to be defeated by Lakha and forced to withdraw the said penalties imposed on Hindu pilgrims. The route from Mewar to Dwarka was under pressure by another band of dacoits, the Kabas, who once surrounded a small army of Mewar, was escorting Lakha's mother to Dwarka for pilgrimage. That small army was assisted by Rao Singh Dodia of Sardulgarh. A fight ensued where Rao Singh, along with his two sons Kalu and Dhaval, fought valiantly for Mewar. Rao Singh sacrificed his life protecting the Rajmata and finally defeating the Kabas. Kalu and Dhaval escorted the Rajmata to the borders of Mewar in winter. Lakha rewarded the two brothers with the Ratangad, Nandrai, Masura and Jagirs, and the Dodias were made permanent allies of Mewar. The Dodias played a significant role in the lives of subsequent Maharanas of Mewar, as we will find out through the lives of Sangha and Pratap. On the next pilgrimage to Gaya, Dhaval accompanied the Rajmata and Mewar's contingent was attacked by a local priest of Thappar, Sher Khan. He was defeated, imprisoned, and all his wealth was taken to Mewar. Lakha fought many such wars with Islamic marauders and kept the Hindus free from their tyrant. The second crucial event that happened during Lakha's regime was the discovery of silver and lead at Java. Lakha worked on them, and metals like silver, tin, lead, copper, and antimony were mined in abundance. The mines provided a continuous supply of money to the Maharanas of Mewar for centuries. Lakha used the money from the mines to build several forts around Mewar and to renovate Chittor. The Brahma temple was constructed by him in the fort along with many palaces. Lakha continued the works of his grandfather, Amir too. The amazing saga of Chunda. Do you guys want to discuss anything from till this part?
Not from my end, but Rishi, if has any.
Yeah, so I wanted to say something which I noted over here. Uh, the
Yes.
author has actually studied the works so well. Like he's analyzing as to how there were some of the mistakes within the researches of previous historians like Todd and Veer Vinod, the author of Veer Vinod as well. And this is a very appreciating quality of the author, in fact. So this is not just a random book at all. It's a very well researched book. This actually proves it.
Yeah, Nina. So just we'll finish this chapter because we have one more stream coming up at 10:30 p.m. where we will be again be joined by Rishi and he will be
Yes.
will be reading Swander Lahari of Shankar's Bhashya. So we'll just continue and we'll finish in about next 10 to 15 minutes.
Actually, this section from the amazing saga of Chunda, this is quite long.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will take some time, so maybe
Okay.
we can start in next stream also.
Okay. Okay. That also works fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't see any. Okay. We don't see any lot of questions that has come. So we already answered few questions which came there. So Rishi, you want to say something before we end?
Uh, Nothing much. It was an amazing stream. Very good read, Niner. Amazing read. That's all.
Yeah, Nina, you now have something to say before we leave?
No, nothing in particular, but it was quite an interesting read about how Rana Hamir Singh and even Kate Singh and how their reigns were so impactful in Hindu history.
Yeah. So just one great anecdote that like I had read. So a lot of Bengali fiction writers, especially Shardindu Bandyopadhyay, who wrote the famous Bomkesh series, and other like historical fiction writers, we see kind of references they have drawn from the, especially the Rajput history, Rajput kings. So for Veer Vinod, I think there is a novel correct, based on Veer Vinod. Rishi, am I correct?
Yes, Sharabindu Bandyopadhyay, I think, has written many works actually, historical fictions especially, and referencing Veer Vinod is not. I won't be surprised on that, though I
Yeah.
personally do not
Actually,
know correctly.
yeah, because one of the short stories as well. He mentions a lot of. So we see a lot of Rajput kings mentioned in their historical fictions specifically.
True,
Yeah, so
true,
that is
absolutely.
very interesting that this fascination for the Western Indian kings, specifically the Maratha kings, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, and other kings, and also the Marwari region kings, Rajasthani Rajput kings. So that references and the characters which are being used in the historical fiction in Bengali literature, it's quite interesting in many ways. So a lot of people might not know that Bengali uh, writers who wrote fiction, historical fiction, actually wrote a lot about Rajput kings. Okay. Even there are novels written on those these kings. So this relationship between like every ethnicity within India is quite unique. And today, when we see a kind of divide and rule being played, a divide and rule game being played, where one ethnicity is pegged against another ethnicity. That was not the case historically. Like we had appreciated each other in so many ways. So we have, I think, Rishi also mentioned something that the Rajput king who was fighting for the Mughals, and when he was there in erstwhile East Pakistan and Bangladesh. So the deity was actually brought back and again restored with a temple, and the priest was also brought to actually take care of the deity. So we have seen these kind of things happen.
Yes, yes, absolutely. You're talking about Raja Man Singh and his
Yes,
and him bringing Kedara as deity. I
yes,
think
yes.
Ma Kali only, and
Hmm.
establishing also on the historical fiction concept. Bankim Chandra himself started by writing two amazing works, including Rajput kings such as Raj Singh and Durgesh Nandini. So absolutely, it proves your point.
Yeah, so it's time to end our stream. We'll have one more stream coming up in about in 40 minutes time. So we will be reading Chandra Lahari. And before that, again, a request to everybody. So this book, Maharanas, it is available in English as well as in Hindi. The links are there in the description itself. So also you can buy. Also it is there in the chat. So I would request everybody, if you want to, history is not boring. History is exciting. History teaches us a lot about who we are. Okay, our ancestors, how they lived, and who we are. If you want to know who we are, you need to read history. So this book is very entertaining book, not your common history book where it is boring. You need to write a few paras to get some numbers. So request everybody go ahead, buy the book, and help our authors to actually so that they get encouraged to write more things. As Didi mentioned in the chat that we need part two of Maharanas. Maybe it's also being written. But until we support our authors by buying their books, by gifting their books. Okay. I had bought about 8 copies of these books, 8 copies, and gifted to people, even within Rajasthan, to read the history itself. So I would encourage people, if you can buy and read, if you can financially buy the books and gift it to people who read books, so that they will know the real history about this. So thank you, Nina, for coming, being the guest and reading. Thank you, Rishi, for your valuable comments. So we'll see you in about 40 minutes time. Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram.